What's up, everybody? I'm having a very hard time with this. I have not finished the all the background information. The reason I'm having such a hard time with it is because it's asking me for, just normal stuff. It's not asking me for anything out of the ordinary. It's asking me for normal information. It's asking me about my addresses for the last 5 years. Now, the reason it makes me is so hard for me, whenever something is hard to do, it's not the doing that makes it hard. What makes it hard is the emotion behind it. And I have emotions behind it. Why do I have emotions behind it? Because when I think about my residence for the past 5 years, I think about how that legal situation just destroyed my life. It destroyed my life, not for the past 5 years, but for the past 10 years. The lifestyle that and this hurts me, so you have to excuse me. The lifestyle that is shown and that's recorded for the last 10 years, it's not anything. It's all been affected by the system. It's just speechless. But the good thing about this is that it brings it to a point where you have to address it. You have to deal with the fact that this is what happened as a result of maliciousness, as a result of egotism. This is what happened. And you have to address the fact that, in this case, you were victimized. And it does happen. And a lot of times when you have situations where you've been abused, in any way, mentally, socially, financially, physically, so forth, a lot of times we're made to feel ashamed of that. And we are not allowed to address the fact that something did happen and it wasn't right. And no one around you wants to believe that because, again, it comes too close to home. If you're really a good person, how did this happen? And so what happens is that you come into a situation where you become demonized. And it hurts because, as I'm looking, I'm having to scrounge and try to figure out, okay, where was I doing this time? Where was, because I honestly, I mean, up until that point, everything in my life, and it's just a reality that everything in my life I have always been proud of. I've always been proud of how I handle situations. I've always been proud of my honesty. I've always been proud of my tenacity, my perseverance, amongst other things. My poise, my self-control, my alertness, my initiative. I've always been proud of those things. And when I look back over the last 10 years, a lot of that has been dumbed down and dimmed down by the system. You know, I just, it's just difficult because you can sit down and systematically, take the emotion out of it and systematically list every single thing. But then again, when you're in those situations, some of those situations that they're calling upon you to disclose, they are not, those are things that are just like companies have proprietary information that's, confidential because it could destroy that company. There's situations when you're brought into a situation of, you know, court ordered homelessness where, again, you, it's it's a trade secret. These are things that people in this situation have to deal with that nobody will ever know unless they've actually had to encounter that situation. So it's it's survival, and it's also knowing that that it's almost like an unspoken code, and not in any kind of superficial way, but because there are people that are living, including myself, at different levels of homelessness that you can't disclose that because their safety is at stake. you know so it's a very situation difficult situation to be in, being a person that's very open, that likes to tell everything anyway. And usually you have the wherewithal where you can choose, hey, I'm not going to disclose, but the thing about it, and, choosing moral values over, what someone tells you to do. But the thing about it is that if you want this job and, you want to feel good about it, you have to disclose. But it's very difficult for me because by nature, that's who I am. I'm very open and very honest. Um, it's difficult for me, again, like I said, by nature, I'm very open and honest. By spirit and heart, I love to promote people and help, you know? And I don't like to ever put myself in a situation where I'm directly or indirectly causing harm to someone by disclosing anything. So it's just a very difficult situation. And today I actually had to go to church to try to iron it out, not to talk to anybody because I've already have the understanding due to situations in the past that y'all have seen unfold before you, that not everybody has your best interest at heart. And sometimes you can share information in hopes of relating or allowing people to understand, or in hopes of you know, letting them know if they're in that situation that it's okay. But people, even if they are in that situation, they want to distance themselves from it. So they'll use it as a way to push, as a way to gain strength and to kind of, you know, lay forth abuse so that they can feel better about themselves, not to grow and develop and understand, but to ostracize and denigrate. So, I've learned those things. I've learned. And from people that have honestly told me straight up that they were going through that, but then they turned it. So, what I've learned, I went there kind of for that guidance spiritually, just being in an environment where people may be saying these things that may not necessarily be true to who they are. But again, looking for God, the spirit. And basically, after much thought and consideration and meditation, what I found out is that it's between me and God. Me and God need to sit down and kind of, decide what to do, iron it out. The truth is always important, but to iron it out with, me and God, and just that's consultation, board of directors behind the scenes. Now, it's just, I mean, it's very difficult though, because, at my heart, I genuinely do, truly do love people. But, like Jesus said, forgive them for they know not what they do. It's hard sometimes because, again, everybody is a guy with a little g in their own right, and so they're trying to make their situations and their environments better for them, and sometimes at any cost necessary, and sometimes they don't even consider what the cost is. So, very difficult situation for me, but I'm gonna handle it. Time is dwindling. It's already 4:30 in the afternoon on Sunday, January the 3rd. And tomorrow, like I said, it's gonna be a big day for me. So, I got to do it. And when you look at it, really, it's not a whole lot. You're just going back into your history 5 years and, listing, the information. And I don't know. It's a little, like I said, it is a little difficult for me. Because it hurts. It hurts to know that any person, place, entity, company, organization can do this to someone, and just have absolutely no repercussions. And that every time you fill out a job application, every time you have a conversation with someone, that is relived. And not only is it relived, but the biggest parts, the hardest parts are not even told, you know? So it's very painful. And, in my life, what I'm striving to do is take that and turn it into a positive. There's got to be a way, because your life is made up of your memories, to change those things into something positive. I have to. And they say to whom much is given, much is, required. And so, God wants me to step up to the plate. I have to make something good out of this. Somehow, some way, I got to make something good out of this. And somehow this is a turning point, because, so many years without a real job. I work, but not a real job. You know what I'm saying? And am I wrong? Am I part of the problem because I'm done, saying this, that these jobs are not real jobs? But they're not, because there's unscrupulous people that are unscrupulous that are not trying to hide it. But I'm sure there's people like that in the real job world too, regardless of the level. So it scares me. It scares me a little bit because once you start calling people out on the fact that they're doing wrong things, again, retaliation, that's scary because so it's just so much that goes behind all of this when you look at all of the different, like I said, I need to consult with God and I need to at least get started on it because it does hurt. And yesterday, as I was starting to work on it, you know, I wasn't the way that I feel now. The way that I feel now is hurt. But yesterday I was like incredulous. Like, how am I supposed? There's no way that I can even begin to put that together, you know? And I had to go walk it off. And I did, and my resolve was okay, that this is something that I have to work out for myself. That again, you can take it to someone else to say to listen. But again, it's a difficult situation. People don't like difficult situations, they see it as negative, and there you're not going to get any help from it. You're going to get talked about and put down and everything else. So it's something that I have to figure out, me and God, because the regular common person on the street is not going to know. They're not going to be able to deal with it. They're not going to be able to handle it. So me and God got to kind of get together on this and work it out, and use caution and use wisdom. And that was what I said to myself. That's something I'm not even gonna worry about it tonight. Me and God tomorrow. I will go to church just to feel the spirit and presence and see if there's something I can get out of it. That I can apply to this situation. And then, like I said, me and God just got to systematically go through it, and then I have to make a decision. And the sad thing is that they made an offer, and everything happens for a reason. Like one of the binds that I have now is that if somebody offers me a job, it looks bad on me if I do not take it. So I applied for this job, and it was all by chance. It wasn't like somebody introduced the job to me. I happened to meet this lady. I didn't even meet her. I knew the bus driver. The bus driver kind of pushed us together. She gave me the information at suggestion of the bus driver. I went up and looked the information up on my own. I applied. I really did not think these people were gonna contact me, but lo and behold, not only did they contact me, I went through the whole tedious process. Went through the whole process, and still somehow I still made it through. And it's ironic. My life is very ironic. Things just kind of fit together in the oddest ways because it's ironic that this particular company also has a foot in another part of my life. Very ironic. I couldn't make this up. I didn't put it together. I didn't even, it wasn't anything that somebody could have done intentionally. It just happened that way. Literally, it just happened that way. And just out of sheer coincidence, this company is a company. And I didn't think about it to hindsight. I have a foot in this company in another way. And I don't know, it's just weird and scary to me. But I know that God has a purpose in my life, and it's for a reason that this has happened, you know. And I have to use just a lot of wisdom and a lot of caution in dealing with this situation. And I have to be strong. I have to be strong. I have to pull it together because I already know from the way this situation is and the way everything unfolded that everything is not what it appears to be. That all the pieces that are in place are there for a reason, and it's there, you know, positive and negative is all the same. On the one, this could be the biggest breakthrough for me ever. I could overcome and just have all this greatness on the one hand. On the other hand, it could end up completely the opposite, almost the worst that you can think of. So it's just going, like I said, to God in prayer, being very cautious and wise about everything I do regarding the situation. And that's all there is to it. But, I'm going to deal with it. It's 4:30 now. I'm going to take 30 minutes at least to do the first part of it in writing, and then just go throughout the rest of the evening, at least a little bit each hour to do. It is tedious and stressful in different ways, so I will allow myself breaks, but it's going to get done. And to those of you guys that support me, I love you. God bless you, and have a great day.